Up. Okay, so I was live earlier and I was talking about payment plans, but clearly nobody cared. And I said I was going to start going live from my phone on YouTube, not the desktop, because a little birdie told me I'm going to have more engagement if I go live from the phone and not from the laptop. So that's what I'm doing. I'm probably going to go live on TikTok after I get off of here, but I do need to start getting my reps in for YouTube. So I'm going to be going over the price and blueprint like I usually do on TikTok. Hold on, let me do a comment first though. Why is it so hard for me over here? Chat filter, top messages, community moderation. Let me see. Live chat is on. Participant mode. No. We need to put this like that. Because the last time I went live from my phone, it was literally somebody in here and they thought they were about to take over my live, and it was a no for me. It's my show. This is my movie. We all got an account. If you want to take over, you got to go do it on your own account. All right, let me. Why is it like? Hold on. I feel like an old lady when I'm on YouTube, cause like, where is the comment button? That's stickers. That's not what I want. I don't need a sticker. I don't need a Q&A. I don't need a poll. I'm really just trying to make a comment. Welcome to the live though. I'm not gonna worry about it. Maybe when somebody else makes a comment, I can go ahead and comment back. So anyway, we are going to be going over the profitable price and blueprint. These are pricing worksheets. So this is an interactive PDF. I'm actually in Adobe Acrobat right now. So for the people who were wondering and they're like, can I use this on my device? It's literally just a PDF. So if you were able to open a PDF on your phone or your computer or your iPad, you can use it. The pricing worksheet does come with step-by-step written instructions, as well as this big yellow box that tells you you have to open this on Adobe Acrobat. Period. Not in the story. There's a video in here, but you can watch this video, and I'm actually going to leave this video up so you can see it. So essentially how it works is you will enter in the title of whatever service. So like this was an all bling set. The video that went semi-viral over on TikTok, that's the example I was using. So that's why the service price was higher. But whatever your service is, even if you do products, you could do this. But even if it's like, XL Gel X set or something like that, you can change that out, and then you can put your products in there, products required and all of that. Now, let me see. Do I have my handy dandy? I do. Okay. So a lot of people are like, well, how in the hell do I actually figure out how many services I'm getting out of one product? And my little stuff that I wrote on the bottom of here is fading, but that's okay. So how I tell people to do it, for instance, we have rhinestone glue. I'm going to type that in the first box that says products required. So I'm going to just type rhinestone glue in there. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. Glue. Okay. Now this was about $10 for this rhinestone glue. How am I figuring out how many services I'm getting out of each box of this rhinestone glue or each package? Right. So when I first get it, and it's a little faded, that's what I was telling you, I'm going to flip it over on the bottom. Before I ever open this up, I'm going to write a date. So today's date is July 28th. So we had July 21st from when I first did this. I'm going to just change that to July 28th. Okay, so it's July 28th. I'm going to hypothetically, I'm going to open this up today. And then I'm going to use this on my client that's getting this set, right? Now, once I use this entire package up, when this is all gone, I'm going to flip it over again and I'm going to write the date. So let's just say in this hypothetical, our date that is completely empty is August 30th or something like that. And then we figure out how many people did I use this rhinestone glue on over the last however many days between July 28th and August 30th. Okay, so let's just say for this hypothetical, let's say we got 25 sets out of this $10 package of rhinestone glue. So that's 40 cents just for the rhinestone glue, right? And then we're going to keep going. So that would be any of the different things. So if we bought a box of tips off of Prey, Let's just say a Prey XL stiletto tips. Okay, 30 bucks. Let's say we get 17 sets out of that. And I'm just doing hypothetical numbers, so not too much on me. You get 17 sets out of that, all right? And we're gonna keep going. Everything we need. We need a Prey Extend Gel. Oops, let me spell it right. Extend Gel. Okay, so let's just say that's $20. We get about 14 services out of that. Okay, and we're just gonna keep going all the way down the line. And you can see that it's adding up right here at the bottom. All right. Now, if anybody is like, well, where do I get this from? It is in the description. If you're trying to get it, it's in the description. But I would put a comment and pin it, but for whatever reason, I'm not seeing where I could put a comment. So we just gonna keep going. So we need the tips, we need the gel, maybe we obviously need a nail file. So I'm gonna say I bought a 50 pack of nail files, right? The cost, let's just say, I know at my beauty supply, my nail supply is probably like $25 for a 50 pack. And then I'm gonna get 50 services out of that 50 pack because we're only using one file per service. And then that's gonna be 50 cents. And it's just gonna keep going. However, whatever we need to do. We need top coat, however much you paid for that, however many sets you can get out of that. You might be able to get more than 15 sets. Let's just say we get 20 sets out of that. We just gonna keep going. Gel color, same thing, roughly. You might be able to get more out of there just because top coat you're gonna use on every person. Gel color might be different. You may not use that. And then let's say rhinestone, since we're using rhinestone glue, let's just say high quality. Not the ones you get off of Amazon. Now, if you want to buy your crystals off Amazon, that's up to you, but I don't buy crystals off Amazon. So let's just say you do a $200 order on Blue Streak or something like that, and you get about, likely you're probably only get, if we're being honest, depending on what you order, you may only get maybe like 10 to 15 sets. I'm gonna be generous and say 15 sets. Okay, so that makes the price for this service, XL Gel X set, let's just say with bling. Let's say that, all right? So we got $18.96 is how much our service price is. Now we're gonna move to step 2 where we determine how much our space is costing us every month. Because a lot of people will go get a suite and they're like, oh, okay, I pay $175 a week, I pay $200 a week, that's $800 a month, no big deal, blah, blah, blah. Except if you have days where you don't have any clients, you're still paying for that space, but you're not making any money, okay? So the example I used over on TikTok in that video that I was talking about earlier, my suite was $1,200. So it was basically $285 a week plus tax. By the time you hit the plus tax, it was basically $300 a week. 3 times 4 is $1,200, okay? 300 times 4 is $1,200. So that means my space was costing me $40 a day, right? So it's gonna determine how much am I charging for this service? Because if I do a full bling set with Gel X and I used all of these things and it's costing me $18.96 just for the products, and then it's costing me $40 just for the space. The $40 is due no matter what. It doesn't matter if I'm not taking clients. It doesn't matter if I didn't have anybody booked that day. It doesn't matter if everybody canceled that day. The owner of the salon suite wants their money. So they're gonna want their $285 plus tax every single week. They don't care what you had going on. They don't care if you didn't price your products, your services appropriately, okay? So when I do $250 and I took 2 people that day, that's what the hourly rate is. It makes sense. It's covering my space, it's covering the cost of my product. But if I'm like, oh, well, I'm letting people on the internet tell me what to do, tell me how to run my business, and they said that they don't want to pay more than $75 for a full bling XL Gel X set. Well, when you start to factor in the fact that you still got to pay for your space and your products, and you only maybe had 2 people that day, well, now you're only making $9.01 an hour. That's less than minimum wage. And this is what I was saying on the video. you can get into the territory of feeling like you have a business, feeling like you're independent, feeling like you're making your own money and you're setting your own prices. And then still, if you really did the math and crunched the numbers, realizing you are making less than minimum wage if you don't price your stuff in a way that makes sense for what you're spending on products and what you're spending on space. Now, there are also other expenses that are not even included in here. So things like taxes, things like business tax receipts, professional liability insurance, things like that, equipment, those are not even included in here. So when you're saying 75 and realizing it's not actually adding up to any type of money, you're not even factoring in those other things as well. This just factors in two of the things that make up your overhead. And we're already at 901. If you started to factor in taxes and professional liability insurance, which you should have, if you are a professional and you're licensed and you're taking clients, you should have that. So if your business gets sued or something happens, they're not coming after you directly, but don't get me started. This is not counting people if you have a tax strategist or if you have a bookkeeper. That's not counting any of that. Matter of fact, if you are charging so low that your hourly rate adds up to this, you're not going to be able to pay for a bookkeeper. You're going to have to do your own bookkeeping. And that's going to actually, you might think it's going to cost more money to have a bookkeeper, but it actually saves you money once they start to figure out where all your money is going. But that's a conversation for another day. Okay. So when you are pricing your products based on your overhead, at least you have a ballpark figure of what your hourly rate is going to be. So again, if this is a full bling, extra long stiletto gel X set, and we've determined it's going to cost us $18.96 per service, maybe we can't be charging $75 because remember, we're already paying this cost for our space. So I always tell people, unless you are getting your space for absolutely free and you don't pay for products, you do need to make sure what you're charging actually makes sense, because so many nail techs are charging based on what they think clients can afford, or based on what the people on Threads or X or the comments over there on TikTok are saying. And they're like, well, why can't nails be $25 again? Well, y'all don't want things that, what was $25 back in the day. We do this for $25. Most of the $25 is already taken up by the products. We haven't even touched the space cost, and you're not even able to pay yourself anything. You're in the negative at this point. So nails can't always be $25. Now, it also depends on how long you take. If you can do something for $25 in 10 minutes, sure. But I don't know if anything other than maybe removing gel polish that would take 10 minutes only. And then people would not want to pay $25 just for you to take off polish, right? So let's just say we don't pay $1,200. Let's say you got lucky and you pay $500 a month for your space. Okay, even at $500 a month for the space in a service that's adding up to $18.96 worth of products, you're gonna be negative 57 cents. Okay, so let's just say this is not an XL set with bling. Let's just say this is a basic full set, one color. Let's do that. All right, so we're gonna take off our rhinestones. We don't need those. So that's gonna set that back to 0. We're gonna take off the rhinestone glue. Don't need that. That's gonna take off another 40 cents. So that's gonna drop our product price. I'm sorry, our product price is $522 now. So that's how much products we're using on this particular service. So a basic full set, one color. Let's just say it's Gel X for anybody that comes in and they're like, wait, what? Let's just say it's Gel X. All right, $522. Space is $500. That's costing us $16.67 a day. So, we at least got to charge something. Now, if you charge $25 for a one color extra long stiletto Gel X set, and you take 2 people a day at that rate, that's $2.86. Still not really enough, because you got to factor in the space cost. And a lot of people don't want to factor that in. Listen to the people on the internet who do not run a business and tell them, hey, you shouldn't be charging that much because it only costs you $5.22 in products to do this service. So why can't you charge me $25? That's 5 times the price almost. Yeah, but see, I still have to pay for this. And again, the landlord or the office manager or the salon suite owner is not going to care about you don't charge enough. They just want their $500 a month. Okay. So you're not charging enough. Now, if you're like, hey, I'm going to make it 50, is that fair? It could be. But how many clients do you have that day? Because if you're sitting there for 8 hours a day, but only 4 of those hours you were working and you charge $50, it's still not adding up to enough because you still got to pay for your space. You still have to pay for your products. And don't get me started on taxes and all the other things that are not even included in this sheet, okay? So let's just say you had 4 people. You took 2 hours per person. You had an 8-hour work day like a normal working person. You had 4 people. Now your hourly rate is up a little higher because all 8 hours of that day you were able to work. Okay, you had somebody coming in. You had 4 people at 2-hour time slots each. That gives you 8 hours. I do think 4 clients is a sweet spot because if you do happen to take 2 hours per client, at least you're doing a normal work day. You're not working 10, 12, 15 hours, and you don't have to price your stuff so low that you're working and you got to do 10 people. Because again, if you do $25 for the set, because that's what the people say they want, even if you do 4 people and you fill up your whole 8 hours, by the time you factor in the space cost and the product cost, you're at $7.81 an hour. You can go work any job and make more than that. You can make double that at a minimum wage job pretty much. So why would you be going through licensing, going through schooling, dealing with self-employment taxes, dealing with business structure, dealing with bookkeeping? Why would you be dealing with all of that to make $7.81 an hour? Because somebody on the internet felt like you should charge $25. It doesn't make any sense, okay? Thank you for liking the live. I appreciate you guys. Y'all know I'm not usually live on YouTube, especially not from my phone, but I was like, we got to start. We got to start going live over here more from the phone. That's what I was told. So I'm trying to like do what I was told because I don't want to be one of those people that's like, oh, it doesn't work for me. You got to try. You can't say stuff don't work if you didn't try. Okay. So I'm talking to y'all and I'm talking to myself at the same time. All right. So if you charged appropriately for this, so say you even just charge $50, which I think $50 is still pretty cheap. But at least you're at $20 an hour. Is that amazing money? It depends on who you ask. Some people that would be great. Some people are like, not worth it. Because again, there are people who make this and more, and they don't have to go get licensed. They don't have to pay to stay licensed. They don't have to pay for a suite. We have to pay to go to work pretty much. We have to pay to have a space where we can take clients. Okay. So $20.31. Is it horrible? No, it's not horrible. But to me, again, you can go make $20.31 at some job where you're not expected to do all of these things. You're not waiting on clients and hoping that you get 4 people in a day so you can make $20.31. Because again, the fewer people you do, this number is going to change. Okay. So if I only had 3 people that day, it drops me down to $14.71 an hour because I'm being available. I'm available to do the nails all day. I'm available for 8 hours. But if I don't have those 8 hours filled with clients, I'm not making any money. If I'm sitting there, even if I'm at a salon where I can take walk-ins, if I'm sitting there and nobody walks in and only 3 people walked in today, that's what I made because I didn't set my price appropriately. And this can work for products too. This is not just for services. So even if you sell a product and you're pricing the product and you're realizing, okay, I'm making this product, I'm making body butter, and I got to have all of these ingredients to make my body butter. And it's costing me this much to make 1 jar of body butter. And then I have to have a space to make the body butter in. I decided to rent an office or a little warehouse space or a storage unit or whatever you're doing. You have to factor that in here and it's going to be the same thing. So you know, how many are you selling a day? If you're charging $20 for the body butter, and I'm just using this as an example, I'm not going to re-enter all of that right now. You're charging $20 for the body butter and you want to do 10 sales a day. Okay, it's about $16.39 an hour because why? It's factoring in the cost of your space and the cost of your products. If you work from home and you do it and you're like, hey, I don't have a space for my body butter, I just do it in the kitchen. And I don't have a room, I don't have a separate room I use for it. You could put zero if you want. However, you could also factor in if you had a space at home, if you had a spare bedroom, let's just say you had a spare bedroom and it's 100 square feet or something like that. Well, you would go home, you would go down to this part of the calculator, okay? So you also have a work from home. So if you work from home, you can go here. Privacy, what happened? Somebody said something smart in my comments? Maybe. Okay. So if you work from home, you would scroll down here. And this is a little bit different, but let's just keep going with the body butter example. All right, so I'm going to change that to body butter. And I'm not going to change these because I don't feel like typing all of that, but let's just put some numbers in here. Well, I guess I could do it. It's not going to kill me. So let's put shea butter is one of our ingredients. And let's just say I bought a 50-pound tub for $50. So it's $1 a pound. All right, cool. So then how many can we get out of that? How many jars can I get? Let me see. Let's just say I can get 40 jars out of that. All right, so that's $1.25, and then maybe I used avocado oil or something like that as well. And let's just say 32 ounces is about $16. I'm just making up numbers. And we get 60 out of that. And we just keep going. Okay, so however it makes sense. Let's just say our jars, we get a 25 pack of jars for $20. And obviously we're gonna use 1 jar per person or per body butter, labels, and we could just keep going. So I'm just showing you that you can also do this with products. It doesn't have to be services. So we get 100 pack of labels, and the labels are, let's just say $30. And we get 100 jars out of that. And we just keep going. And it's gonna add up at the bottom, even if we do packing supplies. And we've just figured out our packing supplies are $50 and we get 35 services out of that. We're just making up some numbers, okay? So we got $4.05 for to make 1 jar of body butter is gonna cost us $4.05. Now, let's just say we are working from home and we got a spare bedroom we're using to create this body butter, all right? We're making it in that room, we're packaging it up in that room, we've dedicated that room to our body butter. You might even go live from that room and all of that stuff. So this is a room you can't use as a bedroom, this is not a guest room, none of that, right? Okay, so we got our square footage of the whole entire house is 1,500 square feet, right? And let's just say the mortgage or the rent is $3,500. Now, the space where you service clients or create products, so that spare room we were talking about, the one that you have your equipment, all your packing supplies, everything, that's only 125 square feet. So that is costing you $9.72 a day. That's built into your overall cost, right? $9.72 a day, right? And if you don't know how to calculate square footage of your home, there's a calculator built in there as well. So you can do that. All right. And then at the bottom, you're going to say, how much are you charging for this product, right? So if you charge $40 per jar of body butter, now I don't know your life and what you want to charge, but you could charge $40 for it. And if you sold 10 a day, you're making a good hourly rate at $43.73. If you only got 5 sales a day, $21.26. Not horrible, but again, it'll just show you like how many sales per day would I need to make my goal. If you have a goal of what you want to personally make, how many would you have to sell to get there? Okay, so let's just say we decide our body butter is $29, right? And we only did 5 that day. It's gonna drop the hourly rate down. Now, if we have a goal to sell maybe 20 a day, we're doing a lot better. Okay. So that's essentially how the work from home side works. I showed you how the regular side works. So if you work outside of the home and you have rent somewhere or something like that, and you're paying monthly or you're paying weekly, but you figured out what the monthly amount is, that's how it works. This is the profitable pricing blueprint. These are interactive worksheets. They open up in Adobe Acrobat. So when you get to your written instructions, there's going to be a big yellow box here that tells you you need to open this in the Adobe Acrobat app or it will not do your calculations correctly. There's also a video tutorial. I may end up putting this video tutorial that I'm just doing right now on live. I may end up putting that in here as well. I may give you a couple of different ones you can click on because I did show how to calculate your price per service and everything like that. But this is the profitable pricing blueprint. There are also some pricing tips and tricks down here. Have you done your market research? All of those different things. But yeah, thank you guys for everybody who did tune in on my live on my phone on YouTube. This is fun. At least I did have some people here. So that's good. I wasn't on here talking to myself like I was on TikTok this morning. And I will see y'all next time. I'm going to try to go live more often on YouTube from my phone. So I will be back. It will probably not be today, but I will be back. Have a good one. Enjoy your, is it Tuesday? Is it Wednesday? What's today? Enjoy your Tuesday, y'all. Bye.